Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Today's topic is Angel Barkiel, whose name means lightning of God. He awakens us to give others a chance and be more open to learn from others. And if you're excited like me, please leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with family and friends. Let's get started. As the guardian angel of the month called Av, the lunar month ruled by the sign of Leo, Barkiel reminds us of the power of movement and awakening. While Leos radiate confidence and leadership, they can sometimes resist taking swift action, especially when conditions don't feel just right. Barkiel's presence is a divine nudge urging us to move forward no later but now. It's not a coincidence that this angel associated with speed and sudden clarity like lightning governs the same month as Leo, a sign known for its strength and passion, but also for its tendency toward laziness and inertia. In the stillness of daily life, it often takes a sudden spark to awaken something deeper within us. Yet the nature of this world is that we all experience moments of resistance. We put off doing good, we delay reaching out, we say tomorrow. But as days pass, that hesitation can settle into complacency. Kabbalah teaches that this spiritual laziness can separate us from the light. Barkiel's energy calls us to act with alacrity, to choose movement over stagnation, purpose over passivity. Let's explore how we can overcome inner resistance, become more open to learning from others, and create more blessings through conscious action. Barkiel reminds us that change can happen in an instant. Clarity can strike without warning, and even in our most challenging moments, we are given the chance to begin again with others and within ourselves. But in order to truly live this way, we need to better understand what laziness truly is. What's the difference between healthy rest and spiritual inertia? When is it good to slow down, and when does delay disconnect us from our purpose? Together, let's unpack the need for uptime, downtime, and no time, the rhythms of energy, rest, and reflection that shape the balance of our life. And most importantly, let's explore how to bring excitement, even joy, into whatever we do, because that is really the true essence of alacrity. Laziness is to be disinclined to activity or exertion, non-energetic. Even Buddhism goes as far to break it down to 3 different kinds of laziness. The first definition is the one we all think of. We don't want to do anything, or we rather stay in bed half an hour more than get up and start our day. The second is the laziness of feeling unworthy, or the laziness of low self-esteem. For instance, I can't do this. Other people can meditate, other people can be kind or generous in difficult situations, but I can't because I'm too stupid, or however you want to fill that in. Or alternatively, I'm always an angry person. I've never been able to do anything in my life. So laziness in this way is related to the idea of being a victim of circumstances, of your life, of situations. That victim mentality gives you an excuse for your laziness. And then the third kind of laziness is being busy with the worldly things. We can always fill up the vacuum of our time by keeping busy. Being occupied maybe make us feel virtuous, busying ourselves with lesser priority tasks, basically wasting our time, wasting our life with things that really won't matter at the end of the day, like what people think about you, what they say about you, how you look, obsessing on that, and so forth. The Kabbalist echoed this as well. Kabbalist Rav Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, who wrote The Path of the Just, talks about this at length. He asserts that human nature is characterized by lethargy, and he asserts that laziness is our default. And to do our spiritual work, we need to overcome that part of our nature. So in essence, laziness is part of our nature, but some people are by nature more lazy than others. And Kabbalist Moshe Chaim Luzzatto speaks about the fact that it is human nature to be lazy. We will not do anything unless we see the benefit. And even then, it often takes, especially for those things that are more challenging, it takes an extra push. It's very interesting that scientifically, it's also a fact that laziness is our default setting. They call it the basic inclination, and they have traced it back to evolution, where our ancestors, who were nomads, didn't know where their next meal was coming from, so they had to conserve energy. If they didn't extend their effort all day, every day, searching for food, they simply wouldn't survive, which means that laziness is the evolutionary need to conserve energy. So they knew they had finite energy of food, and therefore to conserve, they would limit any action of exertion of energy only for extremely necessary tasks. So that old software is still running for us, that is actually innate to the human condition, soul and body. The body, for the most part, is what pulls us down. The ancient Kabbalists explain that the world and the body, every human being, is made up of 4 elements: water, air, fire, and earth. Those are the 4 foundational elements of the physical world. They are also the 4 foundational elements within every person. Each one of those can be drawn to be positive, can be drawn to the negative. For example, fire represents desire. So a person can be awakening desire for positive things, for sharing with others, other people, or a person can awaken a desire for negative things. Water represents the flow of goodness, or it can be also the desire to receive for oneself alone, sort of selfishness. Earth can represent either the power that draws us down, sadness, depression, or humility, as humility is when a person is grounded. It's when they have an understanding about themselves within the greater both history and the world, so they have a sense of humility. Air represent either positive movement or just being sort of a spirit that is not settled. So each one of the 4 elements can manifest in positive. So if you understand that each one of us and the entire world is made up of these 4 elements, and that really, it is our task as people to use these 4 elements and bring them to their most positive manifestation and take them away from their most negative one. So we are by nature made up of that energy we call earth, that energy that brings down, that can properly used lead to humanity, but used in the wrong way bring to greater and greater laziness. So laziness is an actual reality of the body, one against which, if we are to achieve the purpose for which our soul came into this world, we have to battle laziness on a consistent basis. A burning desire will almost often lead to action, but there are many people who have a bigger desire, still laziness takes them over. Of course, everybody has different levels of laziness, but every single person has to fight their laziness, whatever degree it is, and wherever they find it, in order to be able to achieve their greatness, blessings, and their soul's purpose in this world. We have to fight laziness. In the book, The Path of the Just, Rav Moshe Chaim Luzzatto makes it very clear that there is a force in this world that is sort of putting its hand and making heavy every single person trying to do anything good in this world. That's a fact. And sometimes people think, I have a nature, so I'm a little bit more lazy, less lazy. It's not just that. It's the fact that there is this wet blanket effect that comes down upon every single person trying to do anything good. Certainly anything important, because we live in a world of light and darkness. So that for any positive force trying to do, there has to be an equal force trying to stop in order for us to earn whatever we manifest. That's the way the system is set up. Also, Moshe Chaim Luzzatto explains the relationship between alacrity and laziness. And he said, if we are internally quick to seek out good deeds, our physical acts become faster and vice versa. Our physical quickness also creates an inner fervor in testifying our yearning and our desire for more goodness. So if one reacts with lethargy when moving his limbs, the inner drive of the spirit will also wither and he extinguished. You cannot just focus on one aspect and think that everything is just going to come along for the ride. And most people don't realize how much one affects the other. To be clear, a person who allows their body to behave in laziness makes it so that their internal desires diminish. So when they indulge laziness, the effect will be that many of your good desires will become less. So for example, a friend of mine just called me up and said, I really need your help. But I'm in bed, I have my shoes off, I'm relaxing. I either say, no, I can't do it because I want to be lazy, or say, okay, I'll do it, but in an hour. To understand my innate desires for good things, let's say for a relationship, become diminished. There is a direct effect from body being lazy to desire becoming diminished. And there is a converse effect of alacrity even when you don't want, and an awakening of greater desire. Simply put, if you feel that you're lacking desire at work or lacking desire in your relationship or anything important to you, push your body to do things fast. You will see, and it's one of the few times when the great Kabbalist, he says, you will test and you will see that it is true that the effect of pushing your body to behave with alacrity awakens greater and greater positive desires. When you stay in the totality of the effect that behaving in laziness isn't just, so I won't help my friend now, but I'll do something better tomorrow, or I'm lazy today because it's rainy day. The effect of that goes deep. It goes to diminishing desire, as well as the lack of benefit that comes from pushing your body. It's not just for this decision of this situation, but in general, your desires will become diminished. To be clear, alacrity is swiftness of one's approach to do a good deed. They are speedy in acting, they are not delaying any goodness from coming. It's important to know that by fighting laziness, which of course Angel Barkiel can really help you, we make life much more fulfilling and filled with blessings. There's a story in the Zohar that talks about the difference between somebody who pushes themselves to delve deeply into things and a person who is fine understanding sort of the shallow wisdom as opposed to pushing themselves. And this is really the question between what is the benefit of pushing to do things with alacrity as opposed to being relatively lazy. And we're all relatively lazy. And so the story, they use a parable of a man who lived in the mountains his entire life, never been around people and communities and villages. One day he decides to go down into the village, and a nice family takes him in. He sits there and they're going to have dinner. So they bring in the beginning of dinner this beautiful freshly baked bread, and he starts eating. He has never had bread before. So he's eating the bread, he's enjoying it so much. And after eating 2 loaves of bread, he asked the people, what is this made from? And they said, from wheat. Amazing. They bring the first course. It's amazing pasta, homemade, handmade. He eats 3 bowls of it. And he says, oh my God, this is amazing. What is it made from? And they tell him it's made from wheat. And then they bring dessert. Of course, it's all kind of cakes and cookies. And he just gobbles, and he's never eaten food this good in his life. And he says, what is this made from? And they tell him it's made from wheat. And he thinks for a moment, he says, you know what? I actually have all this already. I eat the wheat because in his living in the mountain, all he does all day is eat wheat. But of course, that's stupid. It is true that he and they are eating at least of the same source, but in reality their life is much richer because they take the same wheat and invest time and effort into it, and it becomes, of course, much more beneficial, enjoyable, and fulfilling. It's so important that when we realize that unless we are actively and consistently investing alacrity, fighting our innate bodily laziness, we might think, oh, I have wisdom or I have blessings, but nowhere near the depth and completeness and fulfillment that we are meant to be receiving from them. The great Kabbalist of Moshe Chaim Luzzatto explains that the nature of body is heavy and it pulls down. And it's necessary, by the way, because in order for the body to remain in this world, there has to be something, and really the body is sort of that anchor. But an anchor is also heavy and also pulls down. So that is why naturally we are lazy. But a person who wants to have light and blessings has to be fighting against that nature. Because if you allow yourself to be taken in by the nature and the heaviness of the body, for sure one will never achieve. A person can achieve a certain level of blessings, a certain levels of accomplishments, but not the ultimate purpose for which each one of us came into this world. And he says, because you need tremendous work for whoever desires to overcome the natural tendency of the body and its heaviness and transform it into alacrity, and therefore allowing them to manifest great blessings. And he says, even though a lazy person can say, well, I'm not doing anything negative, what's worse, somebody lying in bed all day or somebody going outside and hitting people? The person lying in bed says, what's the big deal? I'm not doing anything. But as he says, it is just as damaging. He says that he or she brings upon them great negativity. And the danger is that it doesn't happen immediately, but over life and over time, a person allows laziness to creep in that will not only not allow them to accomplish their ultimate purpose in life, it creates upon everything in their lives this layer of heaviness, because they were supposed to use their time and energy differently. That creates heaviness. You give into heaviness, you get heavier, and that's the danger of it. Unless you are in a constant battle against the heaviness of the body, call it laziness, constant battle, no matter where you are, you're becoming heavier in areas that are important. And the problem is that you will not even know, and you won't even be aware, because you create this veil upon your mind, your soul, your being, and you start seeing the world in a different way, he says. And you won't even hear somebody that will say something that in you, in a different state, would be aroused by it in a positive way. It will not influence you anymore. So connecting with Angel Barkiel, studying and practicing Kabbalah, is not about how to become a better person. And it's not just about how to be passive. Unless we are battling laziness, and each one of us has to find on a consistent basis, we are losing wisdom, consciousness, and ultimately what our soul came into this world to do. But the danger is that it's one of those silent killers. Over time, it just makes us unable to see, to hear, and to feel. Think over the past week. What are either decisions that you made or didn't make because of laziness? What are the times maybe you should have said yes and you said no? Also, find daily actively to do everyday things that are against your nature. For example, you've decided to go somewhere and it's an important decision. Either you're sharing with someone or making a spiritual connection. Quicken the pace of your walk. Just that action of quickening the pace brings great benefit. So it's not just about whether you are going to do or not going to do something, but rather the quickness with which you do it. Another example, you had a good idea. There is that person who reached out to you 2 weeks ago, and you have an idea for them that can help them. It's 7 o'clock at night. I had a big day. I'll make a note. I'll call them tomorrow. No. There's an ancient Aramaic phrase that says, mitzvah haba le'atcha al techmitzena, which means if you had a positive thought for something to do it immediately. Why? There's actually a force that will push against anything positive you try to do. You have to be aware of this. And therefore, between now and tomorrow, the next 10 hours, you had the thought and you let time to go by, it will become more difficult in ways you can't even see. The Kabbalists share that many negative forces will come and you might still do the action. It will be much less impactful. It's important to understand this. So it's not just harder for you to do it, but the way it will be received will be less. The whole effect of the action. Over those 10 hours, there's going to be energy created around that action that will diminish it. And even if you still do it, when you said you were going to do it and still do the same thing, and they still accept it, and you still do the positive action, it has now been less effective in whatever ways you probably won't even know or see. And therefore, to understand, first, how necessary it is to call Angel Barkiel. Second, if you're doing something already, do it faster. Third, if you have the idea, do it right away. 4, if you started something, finish it as quickly as you can. And even if you do it later, it will be less impactful. And it's not about the stress, oh my God, I don't have any hours. But unless you're constantly pushing in those 4 ways, first of all, a person maybe will never even manifest it. But even if they do, it won't be as impactful as having done it faster, having done it more immediately and finishing it sooner. Another quote that says, if a person behaves with heaviness, with laziness, with his or her body, also the movement of their spirit will diminish and eventually go out. Meaning, sadness, depression is very much affected by the quickness of the body. So a person can say, what's the big deal if I do him the favor today or tomorrow? He'll get the same benefit. I'll do the same action of sharing. We want to understand it's about a way of life. Heaviness of the body, in whatever forms it takes, causes a heaviness of the spirit. And heaviness of the spirit leads to all kind of other determined effects. The reason why there's need to be a proactive push in our lives to constantly be fighting against the heaviness or the laziness, because it affects everything. A psychologist named Neil Burton said that in most cases, it's deemed painful to expand after our long-term goals that do not provide immediate gratification. For a person to embark on a project, he has to value the return of his labor more than his loss of comfort. The benefit isn't just the benefit of this specific action, but it's the benefit of living a life of alacrity. And he adds, the problem is that it's disinclined to trust in a return that is both distant and uncertain, because self-confident people are more apt to trust in success and pay off of their undertakings, and may even overestimate their likely returns. They're much more likely to overcome their natural laziness, he said. He also mentioned people are also poor calculators. Tonight they may eat and drink without thinking, without factoring in long-term consequences for their health and appearance, or even tomorrow morning's hangover. The ancient philosopher Epicurus famously argued that pleasure is the highest good, but he cautioned that not everything that is pleasurable should be pursued, and not everything that is painful should be avoided. In expressing what made Abraham the patriarch great, the ancient sages used the phrase that he ran like a horse upstream. Imagine a horse struggling against the current, but nevertheless running and running and running. That's the way our life, if we are to complete its purpose, needs to be lived. It doesn't mean that we don't take vacations. It doesn't mean that we don't take time off when necessary. But when we are working, when we are doing, when we are trying to manifest, that vision of Abraham running up the stream against the current, that's the way life has to be lived. And the Kabbalists say that a person who's manifesting their soul's potential is somebody who's doing things quickly all the time. And it doesn't mean rushing through things. Doing things in the right way is always important, and not running yourself into the ground, making yourself exhausted. And this is not a thing to get better at. This is a different way of living life. It's very interesting that one of the reasons why children are often not lazy, at least in the things that are really important to them, is because they have been less time in the body, and therefore the soul is less encumbered and have made heavy. Whereas a person who's been in the body for 30, 40, 60, 70 years, especially if you take your body seriously, it's possible for you to have even greater alacrity if you're fighting the heaviness of the body on a consistent basis. There are things that our soul is supposed to do in their 60s and 70s, but if we allow our body the heaviness of the body or laziness to take over, we will be too heavy. And I don't mean by weight, but by spirit. By the time we're 50, 70, 80, and you won't have the ability to even see it. So the need to push against the heaviness of the body, aka laziness, is fundamental to experience life as we're meant to experience it, and to accomplish in life what we're meant to accomplish in it. So it's not just make us a better person. At the same time, not less important to schedule in your calendar non-time to do anything such as looking out the window, sailing, etc. The other side of laziness, and that is not laziness that's allowing you to be creative, is taking non-time. Our body, mind, and spirit doesn't need that. Laziness is when people living half lives where they're just not investing the amount of energy, alacrity into the important things. We've explored a lot of different ideas today about laziness, movement, alacrity, and the powerful role of Angel Barkiel. But now let's take it deeper, because real transformation doesn't just happen in the mind. It happens in the body, in the spirit, through experience. So I want to invite you to take a pause with me, a few minutes, to shift from thinking to feeling, to open a quiet space where you can receive Barkiel's energy and connect to your own inner spark of alacrity, that sacred willingness to move, to begin, to act with joy. Let's close our eyes and begin the meditation together. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Let your shoulders drop. Allow your body to relax. Another deep breath in and gently release. And now bring your awareness to the space around you. Feel yourself grounded in the present moment. You are safe, you are supported. And above you now, a presence begins to form, a radiant light, flashing like gentle lightning, descends from the upper worlds. This is the light of Angel Barkiel, the lightning of God. He is here now to awaken what sleeps inside you. Silently or out loud say, Barkiel, angel of movement and clarity, lightning of the divine, please guide me now. Illuminate what I must act on. Help me rise above delay. Awaken in me the joy of purposeful living. Feel His energy enter your space. It may feel like a subtle spark, a breeze, or a surge of clarity rising in your chest. And now imagine your body is made of the 4 elements: earth, the weight in your limbs grounding you; water, your flowing emotions shifting moments to moment; air, your breath, your thoughts; fire, the divine spark within, waiting to rise. Feel where heaviness lives in your body right now. Where have you been feeling stuck? Where has resistance held you back? Let Barkiel's lightning touch those places now. Not to judge, only to wake them up. Only to bring movement. Breathe into that spark. And now visualize a recent moment when you hesitated. Something you knew was good, but you put it off. See it clearly. And now replay that scene in your mind. This time you act immediately. You act with joy, with clarity, with alacrity. Feel how different that feels in your body. Feel the ripple of energy that choice creates. Let this be your new rhythm. Quick to goodness, quick to kindness, quick to listen to your soul. Now step into a quiet meadow in your mind, a place where nothing is demanding of you. Here you just are. No action, no pressure, no agenda, just being. This is your non-time. Let it restore you. Because even movement needs stillness to stay pure. As you prepare to return, silently say, Angel Barkiel, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your spark. May I rise with purpose, act with joy, and live in balance, moving always toward light. Take a final deep breath in. Feel your feet on the ground. And gently open your eyes. Carry this clarity into your day. Let your next action be swift, simple, and full of light. Thank you for being here today, for taking the time to connect with the energy of Angel Barkiel and to explore what it means to move through life with alacrity, clarity, and purpose. But this is just the beginning. Kabbalah teaches that before you came into this world, your soul agreed to fulfill a unique purpose. And at the moment of your birth, a network of angelic and astral forces aligned to help you fulfill that mission. Through our one-to-one coaching with angels, we go deeper. In 5 private sessions, we explore how to connect with your personal guardian angel, what your soul came here to learn, how to uncover the ego's blocks and reveal your divine gifts, and how to truly step into the purpose your soul chose before entering this life. If you're ready to understand your journey on a soul level and work with the angelic intelligence that's been guiding you all along, I would love to walk with you on that path. You can find the link to learn more and apply for the program below this video. Until next time, stay open, stay present, and let the light guide you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe, and share. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.